Alright guys, I got the transmission in. Next is to move on to my clutch and brake pedal assemblies. So I have to take the factory brake out, the pedal's a little bit bigger, and the clutch pedal actually mounts along with the brake pedal mount. So I gotta toss that in there, and then the master cylinder hangs off the back of that clutch pedal assembly. So I gotta get through the firewall so I can hook up my clutch lines. After that, we have to do the linkage. There's factory linkage for the automatic that runs through, so all I got to do is pull that out and then replace it with the manual linkage. Once that's done, I can hook up my hydraulic lines and I can actually test the system, make sure it's holding hydraulic pressure. Once that's done, really I got to just start putting everything back together that I tore apart to get the transmission out. So hook up a couple sensors, plug a couple wires back in, put my intake back on, and should be ready to back out and hopefully go for a test drive. So yeah, I'm going to start this video off just getting in the interior, probably going to pull the seats out, make everything a little bit easier on me, and just get at it from there. So real quick, I'll just show you guys. When you take apart this part on the dash and you look up under here, you'll see those two plugs and the single stud with nut. That's about where the clutch pedal lands, and that is going to be the block off for your master reservoir, which is right here. So this is the clutch and brake pedal assembly. This is the bracket for the brake, so there is nothing for the clutch. It just literally hangs off the actual bracket for the brake pedal. It has a smaller brake pedal so your feet don't get intertwined between pedals. So yeah, it is factory cutout on the car. You just got to remove that plug and then undo your factory brake pedal assembly, which is just 4 bolts, and undo the pin to the booster. Super easy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out real quick and then start tearing into the center console to get all the linkage and everything put in. So the easy way that I found to do this, get an 8mm. You're going to have to remove your fuse box. Let me get this phone off this tripod. Get the fuse box out of the way, and you might be able to see it. I already have one of the lines run to it. Let me get a flashlight so you can see that better. Okay, so that's where it comes through, is towards the driver's side of the brake booster. You have that single nut that holds the plug in if you're an automatic. If you're a manual car, it's already there. Get that to focus. So the line that I have plugged into the top goes to the reservoir. You do have to change the reservoir. That is one thing I forgot, because there's 2 lines that come off the reservoir that the clutch and brake system share. So the top hole is going to go to the reservoir, and the bottom hole in the clutch pedal assembly is going to come to your slave right there, and that's how the hydraulic system works. So I just have to pop that line in. There's little clips that keep the lines on. I got to pop those in, and then the clutch and brake pedal assembly is finished. Show you the pedal up here. I went ahead and moved sensors around. Man, this thing is not focusing. As you guys can see up there, and then that's where that hole was, right there. And then there should be a sensor here. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. I'll have to dig through my pile and see what what sensor goes there, and then your neutral safety switch is right here, so it has to be fully engaged for the car to start. Obviously that's not my case right now because an automatic car doesn't come with a clutch neutral safety, so I gotta wire that up. But yep, other than that, that's pretty well finished. And then moving on to the center console now. Okay guys, linkage is out, clutch pedal is completely in. I went ahead and hooked up all the hydraulic lines, and all it really needs is blood right now. So then I got to put the manual linkage in, put that shift tower in, put the center console back in. Then I can come back up front and start plugging everything back in, and I got to have someone help me bleed the clutch out, and then she'll be ready to fire. So I'm going to take a quick break just because it's so freaking hot and humid, and get back at it and let you guys see what comes of it. Well guys, car's done, close to done anyways. I got it running and I got it driving, took it around the lot real quick, and after warming up and going under load, the car started to, it almost felt like misfire, but I put my scan tool on it, couldn't find any misfires or any signs of. Went back, cleaned my grounds, checked them, and checked the charge on the alternator, and while it's running it's only reading 12.7. So I've got an issue with the charging system. I have a spare alternator I'll probably be throwing on just to see. Hopefully that takes care of it, but as of right now the car does run and drive. Okay guys, manual swap's been in the car for a little over a week now. I've put in maybe 250 miles on it, and the thing's doing pretty good. So I'll go ahead and go over the car with you guys. So when I got the manual transmission in the video you guys are going to see, probably post this at the end of the interior swap video, but I started the car, it ran fine, took it around the lot a couple times, and I was having an issue where it was breaking up. And basically, like when you'd start the car, rev it up a couple times, it would just break up really bad. And I diagnosed a few issues that I was having just because I was kind of lacking on maintenance of the car. But the ST, so this is an SES cluster, and when I plugged my ST cluster in, it was kind of freaking out. The battery light was kind of flashing on and off, so was the fuel level light. So what I did was I took my old SES cluster and put the ST face on it, and it works. I mean, perfect. I'll go ahead and start it up and show you guys real quick. Everything kicks on. Everything works as it should. I just do need to get the mileage changed because I wish that was my mileage, but it is not. And then I'm probably just going to enable the overdrive off light because obviously the car is no longer an automatic. But so my issues I found were my alternator coincidentally took a crap, so I pulled one off my
ST donor car, and I had to rewire the connector on it, as you can tell from my great job there. And then what I also had to do, it's kind of sketchy, but I will eventually wire into a neutral safety. So this is the park range sensor that actually mounts onto your automatic, and I just have it plugged in and switched to neutral to bypass the car starting. And then, as you can see, I tapped a red wire into that for the vehicle speed sensor. I use the manual transmissions speed sensor, which is a 2-wire or a 3-wire, and then the automatics is a 2-wire. I will give you guys a diagram how you have to wire that in. And then the other plug is your hardware unit. So this is actually what controls all your shift solenoids, and I just left that open. This is just me being lazy right now, but I will be going back over the engine bay, touching up a lot. I'm going to be tucking and shaving a lot in the engine bay, relocating the battery. I'm going to attempt to remove the fuse box underneath the dash, and going to redo the loom. I've got this Tech Flex stuff, really nice sleeving to cover all that. So other than that, car's driving really great. Other than the alternator taking a crap and a couple other little issues I fixed poking and prodding around the car, it drives fine. So I'm on an automatic ECU, full out automatic harness. All I did was splice the vehicle speed sensor, and the park range sensor needs to be wired up for a neutral safety switch. There's a gray wire, and there's I think it's gray and red wire, and you run those up to your neutral safety switch sensor, and that will allow you to start the car with the clutch in. It's just a safety feature. It's a safety feature I like, and I've goofed up a couple times already starting the car in gear, so I'd like to have that. But other than that, I'll probably just give you guys a clip of the car running and driving around, and pulls just as hard as it ever did with that heavy automatic out. So okay guys, I'm gonna do a little drive-by video for you so you can actually see this works and pulls as good as it does. My lovely assistant will be operating the camera for me. So there you guys go. It works. I haven't had any issues with it yet, and keep driving it. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer.